Welcome everybody. This is Rev with some more live gameplay and trying out a new deck I've been working on over the last day. Really just more of a hybrid build. This is something I've talked about a little bit lately, which is that a lot of decks are doing like warriors plus flips, and, slotting in different goat control stuff. So I figured I'd give it a shot. This is kind of a goat control-ish deck, or maybe it's more of a chaos turbo deck, but we're slotting in some scapegoats and metas and a creature swap for the warrior matchup. See if we can lessen the severity of that matchup. It's pretty tough for turbo. See what we can do with it. Really, all we're doing is cutting one or two flips, card destruction, and more or less a Book of Moon, and putting in this type of thing for if we face down warriors. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see if this works. I've been having actually very little success with it so far. It's been pretty brutal. It might just be kind of one of those things where it's better to be like really good at one thing as opposed to kind of decent at multiple things. I'm really not sure. I don't know if we've been playing it correctly either. So I'm just gonna jump in a game and see what happens. I just feel like I've been getting outclassed by almost everything, and I've been just facing off stuff that it almost seems like sometimes when you build a deck, like you run into decks that are like specifically designed to beat your deck, which is what this deck kind of wants to avoid. Like it's supposed to be like a jack of all trades, ace of none type thing, master of none type thing. I've been getting a lot of games that are very dependent on draws. Like my opponent opens Dust Shoots and Trinity, or I open like Trinity, and it just doesn't seem like the last few games I've been having have really depended on much skill. So we really want to resolve this. So we're setting ring. We really want to be getting a flip in the graveyard. Okay, that stinks. Um, we're killing that. So we're almost definitely playing against goat control. Actually pretty happy about that. That's gonna give us, hopefully, unless there's something he can banish it with, like a DD Warrior Lady, access to Serpent, which is really good with meta in hand. And it's really good to just stall things out and bluff stuff like creature swaps. And once we start getting sets, we can just start setting serpents over and over and making his life a lot more difficult. I don't think it's worth bluffing the meta. I don't think there's much in the grave that we're really concerned about getting back. With Faith right now. And that plays into creature swap. I'm trying to think. Goat control sets stuff like Reapers and Sangans, Serpents, Merchants. I think it's worth attacking into this just to see what it is. So we can, like, I don't know how to play this turn yet. I think just attacking into it and getting the information. Okay. So we know he has Nobleman in hand. I don't know how much, we're actually probably going to get a lot of use out of Tsukiyomi. So I think we're setting this and just trying to bait the knock. Gonna be a difficult card to utilize anyway in this matchup. Plus, we just haven't been blessed with any real discard traps, so we just have to play with what we know. Okay. Trying to think if there's ever a reason to duo second. There probably is. Like if this is, it's like probably a merchant. Although if it's a Sangan, yeah, that punishes us too hard. So he'll just probably be grabbing Serpent. So we know he doesn't have a Serpent in hand right now, or if he does, that's very surprising. So two relatively dead cards. I mean, it's kind of good to get this out of the way so we don't have to play around it, as well as that. But we don't have any sets anyway. So that was a two dead cards, but if this goes into late game, we have a little bit easier of a job. Double Faith, come on, man. Almost like tempting to like meta this, just get this deck going, but it's just we have nothing to do here. And he's probably gonna goat here. Maybe not. Just taking 1,000. Anti-synergy, dude, come on. Oh, we're getting in for a lot of good damage. We have no momentum going into this game, and the more cards that he gets, we haven't really been able to capitalize on like doing anything really unfair yet at all. We're sitting on a storm. Be nice to have. No, I don't think he would do that. Yeah, merchant is the other one. So mirror. If he sets another face down, we could just go for the heavy. The issue is that his goats, which I'm nearly certain one of these is goats, but he'll chain it, so it'd be nice if he had two monsters on board, but at that point in the game we'd be behind. So this heavy's going to be dead for a while, I think. So I don't think we're getting off heavy this game. We're going to set up a solemn judgment. Are we? Are we? Yeah, we have no other choice. Like, what else are we doing? Something's to be said about like tributing this off just to get this going, but what does Serpent really do here? Plus, I don't think we want to expose our grave to banish at this point. know what? This gets live. We can bluff out the knock. I think we are tributing this off at this point in the game. Something's to be said about maybe doing that earlier. Really not sure. We don't really have any big pushes we're going to be making, so I really don't want to commit this solemn. Really don't. So we're going to swing. Goats, there they are. Cool. Probably going to meta and try to steal this while we don't have Serpent in hand to discard for Regeki Break. I think it's fine if we just discard the other Thunder Dragon. Oh, okay. It's good, friend. Sanguine's good. Sure. So we're going to space this just preemptively. I think we're going to be able to dig deep enough to get us like a sorcerer or something. We probably should have done this in standby, just in case we're forced to use the Serpent pitch, so that's a misplay. So we could have brought it back and then bluffed it. I mean, I'm assuming. Yeah, that's cool. Not a big deal at all. Because if that hits us a sorcerer, we're not in a good spot. Well, there's something to be said about him not getting this effect off. Something like Balter. Yeah, definitely. Wow, we can't even hit Chaos Mon. We have 16 cards left. Alright, right play is to not tilt, so we are not going to tilt. I think two scapegoats, like, I don't think we're ever going to need one. Strangely enough, I think we're more likely to need the Thunder Dragon to tribute something off. So, Serpent goes. And I think Scapegoat goes. And I don't think I think we're setting Tsukiyomi. I don't think we can set Tsukiyomi. Like, this is such a brick hand. Like, I don't really want to use Breaker to pop this at this point in the game. We have heavy, but this game has like been defined about like playing around the heavy in my own hand. Really sucks. We really, really needed a chaos monster there. Oh, okay. This is coming up. We're bluffing this. If it gets nobleman at this point in the game, I'm really not too upset. And heavy's almost a liability at this point. I think it is a liability. I don't think he's going to be setting up enough of a back row for us to ever use this. I think the Thunder Dragon is actually better at this point. Plus, like at this life point total, we're going to want to be setting up Solemn Judgments. So I think we're setting this. We don't have to discard this just yet, but this. I think I got too narrowly focused on trying to get like a +1 with heavy. Because we just had a bricky hand that just didn't synergize. Like if we could have just jammed heavy earlier in the game and even forced a 1-for-1, that would have been good. But we really weren't presented with an opportunity to do that, and we've just gotten further into the hole. So okay, this is good actually. If he takes our face down, we're pretty happy. And he's going to because it's in defense. Cool, that's fine. We still don't have chaos. We know he has nobleman in hand, so we'd like to get this back for another bluff. We're going to Suki, and if he torrentials us, that stinks. Not that bad, because he does get to resolve that. And if he mirrors us, that's tough. So I'm just gonna summon, see what happens. I don't think we have another choice. And I don't think break here is worth popping the back row. What probably is worth doing is putting this to defense. Like he can run over it with something, but playing into a mirror and is just too detrimental at this point. Yeah, it's mirror. So we keep this card, but we're gonna have to out this. I don't think we're gonna get that many more opportunities to use Nobleman. Okay. So hand information is just Nobleman. Yeah, you're good. So what's he thinking preemptively tribing? He just doesn't want this end phase killed. I mean, we don't have space. So, I mean, he must be a little bit afraid. There's chaos. I think we just made another misplay by not. We probably should have Regeki braked in the main or the standby so we could get back Serpent and then bluff it. So another misplay. I think we have to do it. I mean, I just want to. No, we don't actually. We really don't. Because we want to keep that around for. We definitely want to keep that around for. I can't select. We want to keep that around for. What was my train of thought going here? Uh, Regeki break, 1,000 eyes and snatch steal. So I don't think this is wrong. We're just gonna pop a goat, set a bluff. Okay. And torrential, we're not that mad about. Really don't think we are. If he uses some type of removal on this, we're pretty happy. So he has Nobleman in hand, and he can't really afford to get Trinity'd again. We haven't seen Serpent from him, so Duo probably is a game sealer. Plus, we're going to be getting Tribe here soon, hopefully, and that makes our life a lot easier versus these goats. Yep. Alright, so we baited out the Nobleman. That is the Nobleman #1, so he probably has drawn another one by now, but we have the second Faith in hand, so. Okay. So we're at the point in the game where we should be thinking about ways to kill him. And behind 2 back row, even with a Solemn, that's not happening behind 3 goats. So, well, let's actually reconsider that. So if we heavy, ask for response, and then he doesn't Solemn, we can Regeki break a goat, and then we kill goat with this and attack, kill goat. No. No, we would win, because we would kill goat, attack, attack. So the right play here is just gunning it with heavy, and then we're gonna, depending on his response, Regeki break a goat. Okay. So siding versus goat control. Let's see. These might come in handy. He's probably gonna be running with big hands. Actually, now that I think about it, it is a control deck, so I think we do side those in. This can clean up stuff with Grave. So, hold up. So he's running Faiths. He was running Merchants. He's going to have some bluffs in there, so I think these are worth bringing in. Wow, we have a lot to side in. Holy crap. This is really good. This is less good. We don't really need to wall as much, so I think we pair one of these down for the monster lineups. Yeah. Yeah. And then I don't think in the mirror like these are at all worth a shit. I think they're actually quite bad. So that gets us to 4 for 4. We need to side out 2 more. We're going to go a little bit more trap heavy. This is less good going second. This isn't great in the matchup, but I think the way we lose is him resolving things like faiths. So we have to get these in, and we have to send back serpents. So, okay. Is there anything else that's just like blatantly bad that I'm missing? Something's maybe to be said about siding out Breaker. Oh, he could, hmm. They can side in Decrees quite easily. Side in Decrees quite easily. So I don't really want to go too heavy. We'll do 2. I have a sneaking suspicion he's going to be getting Decrees up here. So a good portion of our deck is dead. Going to pee. You know what? Screw it. I'll do it too. I'll be right back, guys. Right. We back. Oof. I like drawing Thunder Dragon, but two Solemns in the opener is a little bricky. Sangen's a good starter, so this is a pretty mid hand, I'd call it. Again, like what are we tacking into that like really punishes us at this point? I don't think there's much, so I think we're swinging with Sangen. Um, we'd be a lot more hesitant to do that if there were Trinity Engrave or something, but I mean, like, let's just see what it is. I don't think anything really punishes us that hard. Like, yeah, Merchant was the obvious set there. We had no way to resolve it. Nothing in our hand is worth um, using on that. I'm not even gonna. Setting Solemns here feels so bad because we're probably gonna get forced into using one at some point. It is a control matchup, so life points matter less, but I don't know. Like if he Trinities and then sets, like we're gonna want one of these sets. I think we just have to set one. Yeah, that's not fun. I mean, we do have space for it. I just don't know. Okay, that's fine, dude. Um, we just have to space that at this point, and I think we're then gonna snatch Tribute. Actually, it probably makes more sense to keep it up, keep Decree up, because he's probably has Decree plus like power traps like Ring, Mirror, Torrential. Maybe not Mirror, but um, but then the punish is Book of Moon, and we want Solemn Live for that. So we really want Solemn Live for that. I think we have to preemptively space here. And I'm kind of glad we set a Solemn now at this point. It's going to be costly because I think I don't think he'd commit to this like unless he had a way to protect it somehow. And Book of Moon's not necessarily good, but it's something. I'd just be so surprised if we get to resolve a snatch here. Wow. Okay. And we're gonna attack and then tribute is what's correct, I believe. Okay. And I mean the obvious choice is Serpent, but I mean I'm just gonna hit him with the think because like I don't know, the obvious choice is Serpent just because the recursion. We don't have anything to really go with it. This is never getting added. Faith at this point in the game I don't think gets added. Like Tsukiyomi is kind of what I'm considering here. We don't really have Nah, like we do have outs to his shenanigans, like if he starts metaing us. So, and we can just wall him with this. So yeah, I think this is fine. I don't think it's worth committing another solemn because if he heavies or something, this is probably just another goat or just a goat. Depending on the game state, we'll probably set a. I think that's fine. I don't think that's ever worth a solemn. Okay, things are shaping up. Things are shaping up. I think what we do is set a solemn, set a Regeki break, go for the Kaiku next turn, behind two solemns, and a Regeki break that can pitch Sinister. And we're setting Sinister just so he doesn't poke us. I mean, it makes Regeki break worse, but we still have discard fodder. Just because I think at this point in the game, it's way too important to clear this grave. We do not want us coming out on our ass. I mean, the alternative would be like Kaiku and then just hope Judgment can save us, but um, one of these is probably Decree. So we have a Solemn live for Decree, which is he's probably going to end phase try to Decree us. So yeah, we definitely want to be able to stop that. Yeah, no. Whoops, I did bad math. What were we at? We were at 6,950, so that's 3,450. Oops. Okay, so this protects against another decree, which, I mean, if he has another decree, like, it's really no big deal. Um, that's fine. That is also fine. Question then becomes, is this worth a Regeki break? The swords, that is. To just clear a little bit in grave and set up a Kaiku. My intuition goes with no, but allowing him to really just set up for 3 turns, is that better for us or him? Seems better for him. Because he can draw into chaos. We can too, but yeah, this is what's happening. Like the further we get into the game, I think the worse position we're in. So I think taking initiative and being a little bit more aggressive here is good. Because we're gonna want to get this ring off since we're lower than him, and then we'll sit behind a solemn. Just really hope he doesn't. You know, I think we have to get the ring off first. So we can't solemn here. We have to take it back a turn. Yeah, we have to. Or else that ring's gonna be dead for the rest of the game. We got enough use out of Serpent where I don't think we're too upset about that. The good news is he brought in a Ashura, which is indicative of him thinking we're still going to be on goats, which we're not. So I think siding that out was correct. Not that it's like a terrible card versus us, but it's not very good in our current build. The game one build, it's pretty decent. Okay, so another really good draw at this point because we really want this to go off, and if we didn't sequence this properly with ring, then sitting behind a solemn, this is probably goats, but we're gonna have to. Do we have to solemn it? Actually, is the question. Or can we just start poking those goats? Because I mean, yeah, I don't think we go neg one on that. Like he's gonna goat, we kill one. Oh, it's ring. Interesting. Okay. Uh, so what's going? So he has one dark. So the dark obviously goes. Oh, he has two darks. He has two darks actually. So these can't really be. They do run like things like premature, I believe. Like if they're on Demox. Yes, yeah, we have to do the darks. He has three lights. Okay. We're actually in a winning position board-wise, but we're so far behind on life points that this is going to become a very difficult game. This is probably goats. I mean, that's probably decree at this point, which actually stinks. It's decree, so our break is not live. He's gonna end phase decree us. No, he's not. Rage Geki break. Okay. So yeah, see, this is the kind of thing where like our build changed so much with the side and it's a hybrid that people missed side for this. Like he missided a few cards and it's not his fault. Like he didn't know we were gonna side this stuff out, but at this point I think we win. We should be able to draw into a threat here that wins us the game and stop anything that really messes us up. So, are we graceful charitying first? Because like really it's just chaos that we want. This digs deeper. Yeah, just charity first because we'll probably want that back. So we draw the win con here. Only thing that really stops us is Karibo. So I mean, um, yeah, Trinity sucks. It does. He didn't draw any. We did. I still think we played well, and he played pretty well. Um, the lesson maybe for him would be once the rematch, which we're not going to do right now just because I want to add some end of game commentary. But the lesson for him is really just deciding. But I don't know if that was really he could have done anything. That might have been correct because he saw the goats, but we just did kind of like a mini smoke screen and just made this more of a pure turbo build that is already a hard matchup for goat control. So like it was more of a goat control mirror at the beginning, and then we switched it up. I'm sure I made a few misplays. Like a lot of the standby phase stuff with Sinister was blatantly bad. I think game one with trying to, I just basically got greedy with Heavy Storm. That's really all there is to say about it. You know, that card can feel really good to resolve against, three or two back rows or whatever, but a good player, like I don't think this player misplayed much, at least, from the information that we had. So I think it was just wishful thinking that he was going to set up a board that he couldn't chain scapegoat to, or that he was going to play into um like heavy storm and just let us blow up our back row. Like plus we already had back row removal, which was space, so we had to use that, which then picks off one of his back row, and then he has to set more. So I think that slowed the game down unnecessarily. Um, now, in my defense, I don't really think there were that many good alternative plays, but at least my line of thinking was probably incorrect, and I don't think we got really super punished for it. But um, although, I mean, it literally did win us the game. Now that I think about it, like holding the storm. Um, the thing is, we just had to play around it so much because like the way we won the game was just storm behind solemn, and then Regeki break too. So, I mean, it did win us the game, but I think there was a middle portion of that game where, like, despite the outcome, we played a little bit too much around just one card in our hand, like with the money signs in our eyes, being like, oh, we can plus off this, we can plus off this. So I think that's a critique on my end. This is one of the first games I've played with this deck that honestly feels like there was some thought involved. There have been a lot of games I've played, unfortunately, recently, which are like Trinity or Bust, or like you just get dust shooted turn one and like, or they like delinquent and pick your Trinity. Like, Trinity definitely is a problem with this format. I'm not going to gripe about it too much. Like, we did win. I mean, now that I look at it, like this game, like Charity Pot, Snatch, two Solemns, Duo, Serpent, and the Thunder Dragons. Unless we had Faith ready to go. Yeah, I don't know how we would have won this. Plus, we're like deeper into our deck. So that's really rough, but that's why Turbo's a good deck, which is that you get deeper into your deck faster. You can get to Trinity faster, which once you activate Trinity, at least Pot and Graceful, that means you get more chances to get your other Trinity, and it's just like that pro-cyclical kind of thing where the advantage just compounds over time. And then you can more readily abuse it with Faith, and you have more bluff sets, so that you, on average, get more Trinity recycles. So I'd appreciate any criticisms, albeit polite, about the gameplay or the deck. This is like a draft one or two with the deck, so I'm sure a lot could change. Um, but thanks for watching if you stuck around this far.